Okay, here we just read this age from by using this input command. Let's write this fortcode.py. Open fortpython code.py with your Vim and then start writing like name. It will ask first to enter the name to the user. Enter your name. Then it will ask the surname. And age will be asked. But as I said before, the input, the type of the input is string as default. So we need to convert this age to the integer or float, like if you are like 23.2 years old. But yeah, integer is fine for this case. We can make a good separation with stars, and we can print saying that you are plus name plus surname. Because these two are strings, we can just add them, and we can just continue typing, right? Who was born in plus we will just calculate the year you were born. So we can just subtract your age from this year, but because we here use a plus sign, we need to convert this to string. Okay, then we can add dot, save this, go to the second screen, and then run this code Python 3 with Python 3 fort. I typed the name wrong, so it will ask my name, then my surname, then my age, then it will calculate when I was born, and it prints out this. Now, because I didn't leave a break, I didn't put a space here, my name and surname written like continuously, so I can put a space here with these quotation marks and a space here. Okay. You can ask to enter the password, and you can check if the password is correct with you by using Boolean. So it can print like your password is true or your password is false. We will learn if statements in the next lecture. By using this, you can like write a code asking password, and if the password is correct, it prints out something. For example, it gives you an information. Or if your password is not correct, it asks, it says your password is not correct, please try again, for example. Those if statements will be placed in our next lecture. Now let's continue with the lists in Python. Please make this example your own. You can have a look at the details from here. Now the lists. I will open my fifth code.py, so I will just jump to this above screen and save this and quit. Let me change my mistake. I just typed here fourth Python code instead of fort, so I will just fourth Python code.py. Currently I have first, second, third and fourth codes. These are generated from the command lines, these txt files. So you should also have similar things, because we will add these files into our GitLab, okay, at the end of this lecture. Now, we can make lists in Python, and we can use these lists. To make a list, open your 5th Python code. And you can name your first list as first, for example. And you should write the items of your list between square brackets like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example. These numbers are the integer items of my first list. You can also make list with strings in between the quotation marks, surely. Excuse me. And let's make the third list, having both integers and strings, and also we can add some like floats. Okay, a fourth list can be can have lists in it. So we are making our fourth list containing 3 different lists in it, like 3, 2, 5. 7, 11, and 13. We separate the inside lists with the comma separator here again. You can also type here integers or floats or strings, it doesn't matter. You can use any type in your lists. You can print those. Please print and see how they look like. I will not print them now. I will jump to the next step. Now, we use these lists just by calling them in this form. For example, the first item is the first item. Print the first item of the first list is, I say, and I just add my first list 0th item. 0th item is the first item actually, because Python starts counting from 0. Okay, but if we want to add something into our print command with this plus sign, it has to be string. So we can just type str to convert this item, this 0th item, which is 1 here, into the string. So when we save this and when we just use Python 5th Python code.py, we can see that the first item of the first list is 1. If you write here 1, you should see 2. If you write here 2, you should see 3, because Python starts counting from 0. Okay. Similarly, you can also print the, for example, the second item of the third list as third and 2 here. But because we said second item number is 1 actually. So I save it and then run my code. the second item of the third list is 17. The second item of the third list is 17. But what about if there are lists in lists? Let's try to print the third item of the fourth list. The third item of the fourth list, the index number of the third item is 2 as shown here. I saved, jump to the next screen and then run. Now the third item of the fourth list is also a list. But what about if we want to print only 19 here, for example? It's also possible. Copy this and then just type here 1. The second item of the third item of the fourth list is just 19 here. Okay, the second item of the third item. The third item is this list, and the second item of this third item is 19 here. Okay, so if you have lists in lists, you can just use 2 square brackets and then print the items in lists in lists. Now we can also make some mathematical operations as shown here. Here A is equal to first list first item times second list's second item, or you can also use -1 to tell Python start counting from the end. So if this is -1, it counts from here. The first element is this one, 11. If this is -2, it will count from here, 11, 7. So it will read the 7. So just multiply this 19.2 with 3, for example. Let's put a separator here with the stars and then just type print third items minus second item, third lists minus second item times first lists. You can either write 0, 1, 2 here, 2, or you can also write -1, -2, -3. Both are okay. Let's try both of them. First print this 2 and print this -3. Okay, we should see here both 2 prints which are the same. I just save my code here with W and then jump to the next and then run my Python code. Okay, so I just multiplied here 19.2 with 3. We can also read multiple values from a list by using this column. So in the third list, 1:3 means from the first item read 3 items. So when you use this third list is different than my list, but when you use this one, if you look at here, it will go to the first item, which is 17, and then it will print 3 items here. Or in between the first and the third item. 0, 1, 2, 3. Maybe this is not the output. Let's check from our code. Let's put this separator again here and then print first lists second item to third item. save it, run the code. We will see only 3. Second item is here. Okay, it doesn't count the last number. If you write here 4, it will go until 5 here because it is the fourth one, but it will not read that 4. It will print 3 and 4. Let's check it. Okay, it reads 2 items, which are the second one and the third one. It doesn't read the fourth one. 0, 1, 2 and 3. It reads 2 and 3 here, which are the third and fourth, which are the second and third items of the first list. We can also use this in different ways, like print. Let's read from the third item, from the third list. Like, let's read these all. To do that, we need to write the index number of 17, which is 1 here, and put a column. If you save it and run the Python code, it will print 17 and the rest. Okay, if you write here 2, it will start writing from D. Like if you write here 2, it will start writing from D as shown here. We can also take this column to the first to read from the first item until this number. Now it starts reading from the first item 13, 17 and D until the third item, but it doesn't read the last one. Okay, these are the ways of using lists or reading like multiple values from the list. You can also use again -1 to express the last item, but again here it will, for example, if we say that read from 17 to -1, which is this one, it will not read the last item because it will come until here and stop here, so it will just print these 4 items to us. How can we do that? We can just type 1, which is the index of 17, and -1, which is the index of 23.3. So when we save it and when we use the code to run, we will just see 17 to 19.2 here. Okay. We can also manipulate the items of a list. We can change like this one of the items in a list by just using this equal sign here. Let's change, for example, this B to a small b, small letter, not capital one. Let's use our separator again. Okay, this is the 7th code here. I will just save my 5th code and then close it. Then I will open my 6th Python code.py, but I want to use my 5th Python code.py some part of it, so I will copy it first, 5th to 6th Python code.py. I copied it. When I open the 6th one, it will show me all the things. I will choose from here with Shift V and then Shift G to the end, and I press X to remove everything, and then GG to go to the first line, and then O here to continue writing my 6th code. Okay, I just copied these lists from my fifth code. Now not print. Now let's say that let's define a list as like fifth list, for example, is equal to first. Okay, we are just now here. What does it do? Okay, let's try to change an item in our fourth list. I will remove this. Fourth is equal to fourth lists, first item, fourth lists, first item is now 11. I just want to make it 1111, for example. And when I print the fourth list now, I will see that the list is like this, but 11 will change with 1111. So I always forget this R here. I just saved, jump to the next window, clean, and then Python 3 sixth Python code. Now this item in my fourth list has been changed by using this. Okay, I just forced an item to become something else than the actual value. You can also change this E, like my new third lists 0, 1, 2, the third element, the element number 3 here, 3 is to be small e, for example, and then print my third. Now add one more example. As I said before, I just want to change this B to something else. Second, I'm writing, and the first element of my second list is this B. I'd like to write here something else, like something else, and then I will print my second list too. I saved, jump to the next window, and then see that I both changed this E from capital E to the small e, and I also changed this B to something else. Okay, this is the list items manipulation. We have some methods can be used in lists. For example, we can sort the numbers in a list from smaller value to the largest one. We can print a maximum value in a list, minimum value. We can print the length of a list. We can do these examples, like let's save my sixth Python code, copy it as seventh Python code.py, and then open the seventh Python code, come here, shift V, shift G, X, and then you can just like print sorted. It's already sorted actually, but let's change this to 20, let's change this to 30, 40, and then we can sort now. Sorted first, and let's make all the examples shown here. The maximum value will be printed in the first list. The minimum value of the first list again. Here we can print the length of a list. For example, let's print the third list's length now. Print len third. Let's see the results. This is the seventh one, Python 3 seventh code. Now as you see, our first list is 1, 23, 45, but it is sorted from the smallest value to the largest value. 40 is the maximum value in my list, 1 is the minimum value in my first list, and 6 is the length of my third list. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements, so the length of my third list is 6. You can also try to print the length of the fourth list. It will show you 3 because the lists, all these inner lists are one item actually in this large list, but you can also print one of those smaller lists. For example, the first one's length, this one's length is again 3, or let's change the length of the last one. For example, let's add here 45 and 90, and just choose from here the -1, which is the last item of my fourth list. Now print it. You will see that the number of items in the last element of my fourth list is just 5. Okay, please try to count the numbers in your lists. For example, if you let's make it 2. Let's change our first list like 5, 5, 2, 2, and 3. Okay, you can count the 5s in our list, but the usage of this count and index and the other all methods are different than this sorted, max, min, and len. Please be careful about those. So you should write first and then .count. Then you should give the code to count which element, which item. Now when we do this, it will count the number of 5s and it will print us 3. If you do this for 2 here, for example, it will print us 2. Okay, let's run the code. This 3 is the number of 5s, this 2 is the number of 2s in our first list. This count can be used like this, and we can, like here, we can print the second element, or the index number is, okay, we can print the index number of an element. Let's print the index number of 40 here using the index command. Print first index 40. The element 40's index number is 0, 1, 2, 3. So when we do that, it should be 3. In Python, you can comment out some lines like this, so you can only see the output of this line. What did I do? Let me also teach you how to make it in Vim. Now I come here, I press Ctrl V, then I used J to go down. When I reach to the point I want, I just press Shift I to go into the insert mode, and then I press this square to comment these all lines out. Okay, when I press escape, it will add these 2 characters in front of all these lines. Okay, there's another way to comment out in Python. If you come here and use these, oh, it's not that, sorry. Okay, you can just use 3 single quotation marks to comment out from somewhere to somewhere else. Okay, these 2 ways are used in Python to comment out some lines. Now I will save this document and then run my code to see this tree. What is this tree? It is the index number of 40. Where is my 40? Is here. So the index number of 1 is 0, 20 is 1, 3 is 2, and 40 is 3. Okay. Index is used like this. You can append something to the end of a list. Like you can use you can make another list as fifth, for example, which is the fourth list. Append, let's add 45.54. If you do this and if you print your fifth list now, you will see your fourth list and another element here with 45.54. Yeah, it doesn't work. Let me check. Okay, you cannot say directly this, but you can directly print this one maybe. Let me check first. No. Okay. You use the append command first and then you print the fourth one. Okay, this 45 point something came to here. Now in the append command you need to append something into one of your lists, and then your list will become a new list anymore. So you can print your new list using this one. Yes, okay. Now append is like this. You can remove an element using list number and the element thing. For example, let's remove this D from our new fourth. Okay, from our third one. Let's just type third dot remove. If you just type whatever you see here, you can remove, even if it is string or like float or whatever. When you print your new third list, you will see that your D is not here anymore. Okay, you can remove any element. You can also remove 23.3 by just typing 23.3 here, because D is an string here. We just typed between the quotation marks. You can reverse a list. You can also try the other examples. Now, as the list methods, we also have some string methods. I think you understand what are strings, but I waited to give this information after the lists, after giving these methods to give about the strings. So you can please do all these examples can be seen here. I will not do them. Instead, I will talk about how you should upload your new codes on GitLab in the next video. Please jump to the next one.